This episode has been brought to you by GoDaddy. Visit GoDaddy.com and use offer code Jeff20off or Jeff295 for great discounts. And by BitGravity, the exclusive HD provider of the Tech Buzz Network. For live streaming of Mission Critical events, trust BitGravity. Visit BitGravity.com for more information. And by New Tech, the makers of the TriCaster 40. Stun your viewers, not your accountant. Visit newtech.com and find out more about all the TriCaster line.
I'm Casey Kasem for American Top 40, and welcome.
No, actually, my name is Jeff Adams, and this is the Jeff Adams Show. Minus the Merry Monk. He's in North Carolina, killing some food for the Great Depression. That's where he's at. But anyways, man, that fate is awful. I've got to do something about that. But anyways, Jeff Adams here, episode 17. 17. She's only 17. She's only 7. Remember that song? She's only 17. Anyways, I'm glad to be back from vacation. And I like to introduce the producer extraordinaire, the wizard of broadcast magic, Stephen Haywood. Hey guys, I'm Stephen. There you go. So anyways, I'm glad to be here back from vacation. And I am excited about the show today because I have a long-term friend with me today. And, we go way back in time. And here he is, Chris DRG in his house.
What's up? House. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing well. And, when we decided to do the show, obviously we have a past. I just thought this is going to be so easy for me because what the heck are you doing, man? You live in a basement of your brothers and sisters' house.
It's just been I've been working on trying to be more, but this is my place and I love it. What can I say?
I mean, I obviously here's a deal. We go way back. We actually go back to what, 3rd grade?
About that, yeah. 5, whatever. Yeah, whatever age 5.
The same
yeah.
School bus is all I know. We rode the same school bus, and I felt, I don't know, we were just kind of awkward growing up. And we used to ride this school bus, and what was the bus driver's name? Was it Mr. McNick? Was it?
McNick. Oh my gosh.
Bus 7512 was the bus number. And
did that guy talk? All I remember him talking is in the form of screaming.
Yeah, he had his moments, but other than that, he was a nice guy. But I just remember the day I met you. It was the first day of school, stressing out. There were so many buses. I mean, there had to be 50 buses, and I couldn't, being a dyslexic, I couldn't remember what number. I thought it was 1275, and I was lost. I didn't see it 1275. There was a 7512. But anyways, you saw me. I looked panicked. You said, "Hey, man, where are you going?" And I said, 1275. And you looked around with me. I could not find the bus number anywhere. And then you said, "Hey, man, are you sure it's not 7512? That's my bus." So we got on the bus, and we developed a relationship. And hence, here we are many years later on my online show.
On your online show. And I have a confession to make about that, actually. Even though I seemed like I was a professional, even though I seemed like I knew what I was doing, I had actually gotten on the wrong bus before. That's what made me, a teacher pointed it out. So I've been holding that back all these years. I thought I should probably tell you I wasn't as cool.
You liar. You a liar. But man, we obviously have a great history. I mean, it's It's been pretty, off and on. It's like one of those bad relationships, before you're married. Do I like the girl? Yeah, I'll continue to date her. And then, you don't have anybody, you don't have any friends. So you make a phone call. Hey, man, what's up? You want to go here? Yeah, man, let's go hang out, So it's been one of those type of relationships, being secluded and being depressed, before I was married, had the lights turned down low and listen to a little Depeche Mode, The Cure. It was hard to get out of the house. And then when you got a computer in the house, it was even harder to get out of the house. So, but we've had one of those relationships that, over the years we stayed in touch, and it's been interesting.
It's kind of like Daddy Dargy, the way he always says, it's you always like one of the kids. You never call, you never write.
Ever. But I mean, we stayed in touch after elementary school. We stayed in touch. We, before there was computers, I did have a Texas Instrument Commodore's, was it Texas Instrument? Yeah, Texas Instrument, but I didn't know what an email was. I only played Asteroids or something on it. I don't remember what it was called. I don't remember.
Back when I thought AOL was the internet?
No, I mean, that was even before, I think it was 86, 87. Anywho, but when you told me you were leaving, I mean, we really didn't get to play together. We rode the bus together for many years. You actually lived in the other ghetto down the street, and you used to complain about the cockroaches and tell me about all these things growing up, and so we had a lot in common with cockroaches. So we kind of talked on the bus, but
did you ever try that suggestion I made?
What's that?
Taking a little bit of rubbing alcohol, lighting those suckers on fire, then they run until their legs burn off.
I never did that. I should try that now, but I got to find a cockroach. Now I can afford an exterminator. But, it was kind of funny how we even developed a relationship because, riding the bus 7512 home, Mr. Mignick driving the bus, the crazy thing is, I think he had a chemical imbalance because he was just all over the place. And, and then he put us on silence and we were sitting together. We couldn't talk. Yeah, and then you got dropped off first. And then, we just kind of looked at each other every day and kind of nodded because on the bus, you couldn't really talk if, the bus got a little crazy. You'd say, all right, everybody, shut up. And so we were on silent. So it was amazing to me. I mean, I guess we had this, chemistry, of just looking at each other to develop a relationship. So, moving forward in 5th grade, you actually left Florida and you moved to Utah. That's and being a dyslexic, I'm sure you can share a lot of the stories of me trying to write to you. And trying to decipher the translations of my dyslexia in these notes I sent to you. I mean, what was the most interesting one I sent to you?
I think my favorite was quite possibly the one where you were talking about. Oh gosh, it was your 9th grade class, and. Who was it? Patty. What was her last name?
Patty.
Yeah. I don't even remember what her last name was, but yeah, that was that time that you put the Alka-Seltzer in your mouth, yeah. and it exploded all over her, thinking that you could hold it in.
Fatty Patty. I mean, the crazy thing about Fatty Patty is, Facebook, social media. There's people we used to make fun of. They actually make fun of. It's the opposite now because they turned out to be these completely different people than they were in their childhood. And, Fatty Patty's now Skinny Patty, right?
That's
so.
True.
And they all come back and they stalk you on social networks and saying, look at me now. Look at me now. Who's Fatty Patty? Anyways, but the letters I would send to you, I'm sure I didn't even know I was dyslexic until I was in my 30s. And
it was actually those letters that inspired me to learn Klingon, that Star Trek language. I spent so much time trying to figure out what it was that you were writing, and then realized that there was actual similarities. I don't know if you knew that.
A tad. I should have known that and said, I wish we would have sent voice memos back then, and I could have said, Spock. What is the problem?
I mean, if we had a Facebook back then, how much different would life have been, right?
Hey, it would have been horrible for me. I mean, I've had to learn my way out of dyslexia through social media, and sometimes I still make mistakes. My wife's this grammar Nazi, which I'm glad she is, because she helps me for looking really stupid. But I still, even when she doesn't proofread my stuff, I send it out and I make some kind of mistake. But a lot of people don't know. I mean, it's not that I'm uneducated; it's just the fact that I battle with a disease, and it's all true. And it's been very difficult to deal with. And but hey, man, I've come a long way with it. And look at me now. Look at me now.
Oh yeah, your Facebook posts, your emails have been a lot more clear as of late, and I've been losing my Klingon because of it.
So we the Klingon, Lord, I don't even know if I could. Maybe I could read Klingon and actually decipher it. But I remember we write pen pals, and then for some odd reason, it was just like destiny, because we went to summer camp together, and you were in Utah, but you still came back to Florida. I guess you had grandparents here in town, and you stayed the summer, and we actually were at the same camp together, Camp Weewaw.
Yeah, Camp Weewaw, good old Camp Weewaw. Yeah.
Those were the days. I remember, funny story about Camp Weewaw. Remember in the middle of the night, or it was around 12, we would hear every night people would drive by and honk the horns. It's like one car every single night. And it would just beep and beep and beep, and it would wake us up. And years later, I met this guy who was a little bit older. I mean, he was probably 8 or 9 years older. He said he worked at Disney World, and that was his route to there. And when every night he would harass the campers, he would honk his horn. I actually met the guy that harassed Camp Weewaw. I said, was you? And he's like, yeah, every time I drove by Camp Weewaw, I would honk my horn at midnight coming home.
The midnight terrorist, man. That was terrible.
It was insane. But, we really never really slept at Camp Weewaw at all. And then the crazy thing about our friendship is that the fact that we stayed close together, but we weren't in the same cabin. And then the times we did get to see each other, we were on opposite teams. We had these battles at summer camp, and we battled each other. And it was absolutely crazy that I still don't understand why we're on this video together, because there was really no form of real communication. But I think it happened in later years with our friendship. And this is the get all story. I started off as a Christian rapper, my teens, and then funny thing is, later on in life, I found out you were doing the same thing, and we ended up at the same place together. We did a tour, and well, it wasn't really a tour. Some guy brought us in, and you were there. I was like, what are the chances of you being here? We were at some Assembly of God church. I mean, it was odd. I mean, there was snakes, ladies with legs that haven't shaved in God knows when. And that freaked me out. And the fact that I was wearing a baseball hat, a church that brings in a Christian rapper. I mean, the whole thing, you're white, you're trying to fit in. You've got to wear some clothes. You got to wear some.
You got to have your branding, your style. People got to understand that.
You've got to play the part.
Exactly.
So we had, I was wearing a hat, and this guy came up to me, this Spanish guy, and he said, "You need to take off your hat." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "You need to take off your hat. It's disrespectful to God. It's disrespectful." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? I haven't had a haircut. I got to wear my hat. You brought a Christian rapper in to come and rap in your sanctuary, and I got to take off my dang hat? Are you serious?" And he goes, "Look at you. The way you dress, you see this right here?" And he was wearing this name tag. Right? And it said Pastor so-and-so. And he goes, "See, if we were out in L.A. and you were standing with the Crips and the Bloods, you would get arrested with them too." And I was like, "Seriously?" He goes, "I wouldn't. See, I wear and I got a name tag. They wouldn't touch me. It's disrespectful." And I was like, "Okay, dude, seriously, I will take off my hat, but let me clarify something with you, all right? If we're really gonna get into this, don't you have to take off your shoes because we're standing on holy ground, for crying out loud?" And so I took off my hat, and there and behold, there was Chris DRG in the house at the same thing, and he had to take off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Snakes, ladies with pantyhose with hair coming out of them, and
that was back when I was trying to brand myself as the Eminem of Christian rap, man. That was almost another life ago.
It was a whole life ago. And the fact that the funny thing with this situation is this church was so bizarre on so many fronts. It was, I don't know, man. I've never experienced anything like that. I mean, they brought you in to do something and to rap, and they interrupt you.
Yeah, like it seemed like I mean, I got finished, I got finished doing my set, and then afterwards I had a whole list of things that I wasn't allowed to say anymore. And I don't even remember what it was now, but I was you're singing good things, you're singing about God, and
we're gonna take an offering right now. Hey, wait, we have a praise report. Remember that time? I think it was during my set. I mean, I had like a 35-minute set, and probably every time I got done with a song, they interrupted. They literally interrupted me, and pastor got on the mic and goes, "Ooh, hey, we're gonna do praise reports right now. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord." And I kid you not. All right, this praise report. A lady ran up to the microphone, grabbed the mic from me, just grabbed the mic, straight up grabbed the mic, grabbed it, and said, praise the Lord, prayer works. Prayer works. And then she looked at me and she goes, prayer works, Jeff. And so she takes this thing, and it was about this big, and it was like a rock. And she goes, my husband just passed this in the bathroom. We've been praying for the kidney stones to pass. And pass. Praise the Lord. And I was like, where is your husband? She's so worried about being on the mic and messing up my set. Where's your husband? If he just passed his kidney stone, where is he? Because it was a pretty big stone. And I was like floored. I go, this can't be happening. So long story short, I mean, they kept interrupting, yada, yada, yada. Chris does his set. The crazy thing, the kicker was, Chris, this still cracked me up because religion just gets in the way of a lot of things. And Chris is actually a Mormon. And when you put Mormonism in Assembly of God, I don't know why the Assembly of God brought you in. I mean, you label yourself a Christian rapper, but the fact that, the guy told you, he grabbed the microphone, found out you were a Mormon, and said you were going to hell in front of everybody.
Yeah, talk about embarrassing, man. Like, you have those stories in your life that you just don't talk about. You have those stories that change your life, and that was it for me, man. Like, being scorned in front of that whole assembly, just it made me walk away from the art.
Walk away from the art?
Yeah.
I mean, how could you even do art in that church? I mean, because you're so, the crazy thing is they invite you to your church, and back then we had cassettes to sell. They go buy your cassettes, and then later, 30 minutes later, we're the devil, and they're going to have a record burning in the back.
I ran for almost 3 miles. As I was leaving the church, I had a group of guys, and I think your Spanish priest was in there too, throwing rocks at me for about 3 miles down the road. And I couldn't run there now. I'm a lot bigger than I was back then, but shoot, I had to climb a tree, and it was dark by that time. I had to climb a tree and start hooting like an owl so I could get them off my back. Thank goodness there was no moon that night.
Oh my gosh. I mean, there's so many, I don't know, man. That for me was one of those situations where I'll never forget it. To this day, I'll never forget that day. And I still think about that guy. And I wish I was a police officer. So I could go just arrest him wearing a suit and a freaking name tag, just for principle.
And I'm glad you continued with it, man. I look back now and I say to myself, what would have life been like? Could I have been the Eminem of the Christian rap scene?
Well, I think the fact that threw them off was the fact that you had 7 wives on the front pew. And I think that's what, threw them off. And then the fact that was, yeah.
You got to have your super fans.
Yeah, you got to have your fans. You got to have your support group.
Absolutely.
Each midwife has to watch the other kids. So the other one, you know how it works.
Absolutely. Thank God for Costco.
Yeah, Costco. Save money. Costco, save money.
I went to the Costco around here a couple years ago and saw the Sister Wives. I don't know if you saw that show.
I don't think
Sister
I've ever
Wives.
did. What's it about?
No.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
I know what it's about. I've never seen it.
Reality TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that,
Sure
is
enough,
that-
man, it was like a train.
Is that on your
Groceries
TiVo?
piled.
How do you even afford TiVo? I mean, you're living in your brother's and sister's basement, and dude, we're about the same age. I mean, what is the dealio? I mean, I've known you made some strides and made some changes in your life, and you're trying. I mean, I know you've been trying to get the YouTube comedy channel going, and just
Actually, I have you to thank for that.
really.
Yeah, it was back when I was watching your old your Samp 700 show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
It was
which one? I mean, that's how actually we reconnected was through that, right? I mean, we ran off the radar. I didn't talk to you after the incident at the Assembly of God Church, and then years later, you found me on I think it was Blog TV or maybe it was YouTube. I don't remember. And
it was YouTube.
Yeah. So I think we have that clip. This is actually my first blog I ever did in 2007. Check this out.
You're never gonna believe this. Benny Hinn is in my backyard right now, waving his white jacket all over the place.
I thought I was the ish. I was like, I have a webcam. I can conquer this thing. And the crazy thing back then, I was doing artist management, and I had a webcam. First computer I bought with a webcam. I'm like, look at the possibilities on here. And I found all these streaming networks. In fact, Livestream was called Mogulus back then. I was actually the first 75 people that got to test Mogulus. And I just thought I was the ish. I mean, you look back then, I put this fake green screen on there, and I was doing these live shows. I was using all these computers and streaming. It was just complete crap. But you found me. And you started communicating. It's like, how are you doing this crazy technology? And I was like, hey, man, I thought I was arrogant. I was like, no, look at what I'm doing. Look at me. I'm a caveman. I make fire.
My favorite part of that video was the modified jazz hands. It was, Benny Hinn's in my backyard.
I wish he was. But you saw that, and you started hitting me up and saying, hey, man, how you doing this stuff? And it took you 5 years to get with the program.
Build up the gumption, yeah.
Just recently, you started a YouTube channel, and the basis of it, you're just really documenting your life, living in the basement with your brother and sister, and it's pretty interesting. I mean, do we have the website to show the YouTube channel, Steve?
Yeah, it was. I started off just trying to. I couldn't decide what to do. I wanted to come up with this big elaborate hoax of playing a character or whatever, but I finally made the decision just to be me. Just to talk about my life, just to talk about my opinions.
What's up with your life? I mean, you live in a basement. And the main thing is, when we connected on Twitter yesterday, I was like, I got to have you on the show. Not the fact to slap your hand, but dude, we're not young anymore.
No, you're true. That's true.
And and I want to help you because we've been buds for a while, and and our friendship is kind of silent still, like sitting on the bus. And I said, man, I want to help Chris DRG, and the fact that you kept your rap name with your YouTube channel, I'm Chris DRG. I'm gonna make a comeback, and I'm gonna talk about all my woes being a Mormon in the Assembly of God Church. And I've got
I just decided that it had too much spunk to it, had too much ring to it. Even on my resumes I put in Chris DRG, and maybe that could be why I don't have a job. Well, haven't had a job, for the past couple of years. I am working now, but yeah, I mean, maybe people didn't believe that DRG was a good last name. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I really got hip. I mean, I branded, my name was Samp, because I used to always talk about sampling. So one of my friends nicknamed me Samp because I would talk about sample, like, hey, I'm gonna call you Samp, because I never really had a rap name. So when American Lion came out, I used I tried to use SAMP. It was taken. So I was like, hey, I'm going to take God's number 700, like the 700 Club, SAMP 700.
Nice.
And so literally for years, I still use it for like that name for like passwords and crap like that. Not passwords to my Facebook, but like a screen name and a different password. But I still use that code just so I remember where everything's at. So, and it varies. I mean, I change things up like SAMP 700 dash whatever. But that was told to me. It's like you got to drop the stupid rap name. And I mean, I literally did it. I had a Twitter account, the SAMP 700. When Twitter came out, I started using that because I saw in Fast Company. I was like, Twitter, what is this? So I registered as SAMP 700, and I eventually changed the name probably like 2 years ago because rap names are stupid. So, Chris, I'm going to tell you like the world told me. You got to drop the rap name, man. Chris DRG. Chris DRG in the basement. Yo.
You know, it's... Yeah, I've been told a couple of times by several different people. But you know, I still think I can make the comeback.
What does the DRG stand for anyway?
You know, it just flowed, you know, like you know, my raps flowed, DRG flows, and it's not, you know.
DRG flows? How does DRG flows? What did that stand for? DRG.
You know, I really didn't have an acronym for it. I just you know, I once knew a guy named Chris DRG, and it just kind of, I was like, well, you know, nobody could pronounce that, and so I figured, well, might as well make it DRG. So that's what I went with. And the guy was kind of cool, you know. I emulated his coolness. At least I tried to become as cool as he was.
Are you still like fooling around with music and stuff?
You know, every now and then I try and put it just hasn't had the same. Like I got this mental block. Like every single time I go to write, you know, some new raps or whatever, all I can think of is being up in the tree, hooting like an owl, and feeling like a fool. So,
wowzers.
Yeah, it's like this weird mental block.
What was that one song you had? Oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember it. It went. Oh yeah, wait, hang on. Dun, 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 dun. You went, hoo ha! It's the Chris DRG. That is me. Hoo ha! It's the Chris DRG. I'm born to be free. Was that how it went?
That's it. And then it turns out that hoo ha has a different connotation depending on the crowd you're working with. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, why not? You know, Chris DRG. Why not Chris hoo ha? I mean, that has a better ring to it. I mean, I'm trying to help you out here. I want you to get paid and do your passion here, man.
But how do you spell
Chris,
that?
Hoo-ha. I mean, that's for you to figure out. I'm dyslexic.
Touche.
You asked me to spell that for you? Are you serious? Come on. Hoo-ha. I mean, that song, it was a great song. Hoo-ha. Hey, we got to pay some bills here and keep the tech buzz afloat. So we will be right back after this quick break.